Amelia, a free, spirited artist whose canvases burst with vibrant colors, and Liam, a quiet baker with gentle hands that craft the most delicious pastries, are the heart of our story in Willow Creek. This Valentine's Day, Liam decides to take a leap of faith, expressing his feelings for Amelia in a unique way, sending her anonymous love notes and treats. But what Amelia thinks is just a sweet gesture is soon revealed to be something a lot more complicated, with a secret that will change everything. Get ready for a journey of love, intrigue, and unexpected revelations. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where you're watching from today. Are you a believer in secret admirers, or do you think love should be open and honest?
Let us know!
And if this story of hidden feelings and mysterious gestures resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're so glad you're here. Let's get started. The morning sun streamed through the large windows of the sweet spot, Liam's bakery, illuminating the swirling dust motes and the rows of freshly baked goods. Liam, a man of few words but many talents in the kitchen, moved with practiced ease. His hands, dusted with flour, carefully arranged delicate pastries on a tiered stand, each a small masterpiece of flavor and texture. He hummed a soft, almost inaudible tune, his mind far away from the bakery, picturing Amelia's smile. Amelia, on the other side of town, was already lost in her own world of creativity. Her small art studio, a converted garage behind her family's home, was filled with the scent of paints and the vibrant colors that spilled onto her canvases. This morning, however, she felt a sense of restless anticipation. It wasn't a creative block, but a feeling she couldn't quite name. She was looking out the window, watching the town wake up, when a little girl came running towards her studio, giggling as she got closer. "This is for you, Miss Amelia," she said shyly, handing her a small, white envelope, adorned with a tiny, hand-drawn heart. Amelia thanked the girl and watched her skip away. Curiosity piqued, Amelia opened the envelope. Inside, she found a handwritten note on thick, cream-colored paper, along with a small, perfectly formed chocolate truffle. The note read, "Your art brightens even the cloudiest of days. I hope this small treat brings a little sweetness to yours. A secret admirer." Amelia's heart did a little flutter. She laughed to herself, a feeling of warmth spreading through her, and took a bite of the truffle, its rich flavor melting on her tongue. It was definitely a creation of the sweet spot she had bought many times from Liam's bakery. This was both surprising and intriguing. Who could have sent this? The next day, another note arrived, this time with a small, intricately decorated sugar cookie and a sketch of one of Amelia's paintings. This note said, "I see the world through your eyes. Your work is a gift to us all." Again signed, "A secret admirer." But with each passing day, the notes and gifts became more personal. A small bouquet of her favorite wildflowers, a playlist of her favorite songs, and always the small treats from the sweet spot. Amelia was charmed, yes, but she was also very curious. Who was this person who seemed to know her so well? She confided in her best friend, Chloe, over a cup of tea at the local cafe. "It's so romantic, Chloe, but also a little unsettling. It's like, this person sees me, really sees me, but I have no idea who it is." Chloe, a hopeless romantic herself, was thrilled. "This is like something out of a movie. You have to find out who he is, Amelia, and then you'll fall in love and live happily ever after." But Amelia laughed, but her curiosity was growing, and a part of her was starting to wish this fairy tale was real. Her hunt for the secret admirer had begun. Amelia decided that a strategic approach was needed to unmask her secret admirer. Willow Creek wasn't a big town. She knew most people, or at least thought she did. She started by mentally cataloging the eligible men in town, the ones who might be inclined to such romantic gestures. There was Mr. Abernathy, the charming but somewhat clumsy owner of the hardware store. He often complimented her on her paintings when she went to buy supplies, and he had a kind heart. But Amelia didn't think he would be the type to write such personal notes, or be so observant. Then there was Thomas, the local librarian, a bookish man with a penchant for poetry. But she had never seen him as someone romantic. They always talked about books, and nothing more. And of course, there was also the very handsome, but a bit arrogant newcomer, Daniel, who recently opened a real estate business in town. He seemed very interested in her and had asked her for a date. She did not like him too much, but she knew he had some interest in her. She started paying closer attention to each of them, observing their mannerisms and trying to spot any clues. Mr. Abernathy would occasionally trip over his own feet, while Daniel's charm felt a bit too rehearsed and impersonal. Thomas would often stare into space with a dreamy expression, but always looked surprised when she talked to him. None of them seemed like they could be the secret admirer. She also spent hours trying to figure out how she was going to get her answers. It wasn't easy, as she was very shy and not used to talking too much with other people. She found herself frequenting the sweet spot more often, watching Liam from across the counter as she ordered her usual lat and a small treat. He was always quiet, focused on his work. But there was a warmth in his eyes and an aura of gentle kindness that had always put her at ease. He would always smile at her, and sometimes they would engage in small talk. He was very polite. He had even started to ask her about her work. She had thought that he was a great guy and was always kind to her, but she had never thought of him as a possible romantic interest. He always just seemed so shy. Could Liam be the secret admirer? The thought made her smile, but she also found it a little hard to believe. One afternoon, while browsing the small bookstore in town, she stumbled upon a collection of vintage stationery. The paper was exactly like the one used in her notes, thick and cream-colored. She asked the owner where they got it. The owner, an elderly lady with a knowing smile, said, "That's our special order paper. Liam from the Sweet Spot buys it regularly for his packaging." Amelia's heart skipped a beat. This was a major clue. So Liam was indeed buying the same kind of paper that was used on her letters. She was so surprised. She didn't know what to think. Could it really be him? That night, while working in her studio, she noticed the familiar scent of chocolate in the air. It was the same chocolate scent that had accompanied all the gifts. She had a realization that all the treats were from Liam's bakery. Her feelings were now even more confused. She started to go over the clues and tried to find all the connections. The paper, the treats, the fact that the notes seemed to describe her so well. Could Liam, the quiet, shy baker, be her secret admirer? The idea was both exciting and a little unnerving. It was time to find out for sure. But how? Amelia decided she needed to get closer to Liam, to observe him more carefully without being too obvious. She started by visiting the bakery during quieter hours, engaging him in conversation about his work, his life, anything to get a glimpse into his thoughts. She wanted to see if his eyes would reveal something that his words didn't. One afternoon, while she was lingering over a cup of tea and a slice of lemon cake, Amelia noticed a small, worn sketchbook lying on a shelf behind the counter. It was partially hidden by a stack of cookbooks, but she could see the edges of detailed sketches peeking out. Curiosity got the best of her. "Liam, what's that?" she asked, pointing towards the shelf. Liam seemed startled, a faint blush creeping up his neck. "Oh, that's just an old sketchbook," he said, trying to brush it off. "Can I see it?" Amelia asked, a little more insistently than she intended to. Liam hesitated for a moment, then slowly reached for the sketchbook, his fingers tracing the worn edges. He handed it to Amelia with a shy smile. Inside, Amelia found not sketches of pastries, but detailed drawings of flowers, landscapes, and surprisingly, several sketches of her, some of them capturing moments when she hadn't realized anyone was watching. The sketches were beautiful and showed a great talent. Amelia's heart did a little flip. She flipped through the pages, admiring Liam's talent. "These are amazing, Liam. You're such a talented artist." Liam looked down, his cheeks flushing a deeper shade of red. I used to draw a lot when I was younger," he said quietly. "But I haven't really done anything like this in years." As Amelia continued to look through the sketchbook, she noticed a recurring symbol drawn at the bottom of each page, a small, intertwined heart and star. She felt like she had seen that symbol before, but she could not remember where. She had a strange sense of déjà vu, a feeling of some important connection, a memory that was just out of her reach. "This symbol, the heart and star, I think I've seen it somewhere before," she said, pointing to the drawing. "Do you remember where this came from?" Liam looked at the symbol, his face losing a little of his color. It was just something I made up. I don't really know. It means nothing." He tried to grab the sketchbook, but Amelia pulled it away gently. Amelia's curiosity was now completely on fire. She knew something was up. She had to find out more about this. She closed the sketchbook and gave it back to Liam. "Thank you for sharing this with me. They are beautiful," she said. "Thank you for liking them," he replied, clearly trying to change the subject. "Is there anything else I can get for you?" "No, thank you. That will be all," Amelia said with a small smile. She said goodbye and left the bakery, her mind racing with questions. She knew there was more to Liam than met the eye. He was not just a shy baker, he had a hidden artistic talent. And he seemed to be hiding something important. The more she found out about him, the more she felt a pull towards him. But there was something else, something that she couldn't put her finger on. Something that was pulling her towards the past. She felt like she was getting closer to the answers, but also further away. Driven by her growing curiosity, Amelia decided to do a bit more digging into Liam's past. She remembered that old Mrs. Gable, one of her mother's friends, knew everything about everyone in town. So, the next day she visited Mrs. Gable while she was tending her rose garden. "Mrs. Gable, I was wondering if you knew anything about Liam, the baker," Amelia asked, trying to sound casual. "I know he's been in town for a few years, but I don't really know much about him." "Mrs. Gable's eyes twinkled. Liam, he's a good one, that boy. Quiet, but a heart of gold." She paused, clipping a rose. "Came to town after his parents passed away, I believe. Lived here when he was very small, then went away with them. They were artists, you know. Wonderful, talented people." "Artists?" Amelia asked, surprised. "I didn't know that." "Oh yes," Mrs. Gable said. "They had a studio, a small place just outside of town. Haven't been there in years, though, since they passed. It's probably all run down." She sighed. Such a shame to see their talents go to waste. Liam was a very talented young boy, so good at drawing and painting. He would spend hours there. Amelia thanked Mrs. Gable and left with a pounding heart. A studio outside of town. That could hold some answers. The next day, instead of heading to her own studio, she followed a small, overgrown path Mrs. Gable had described, leading her towards the edge of Willow Creek. After a bit of walking, she found it a small, wooden building, hidden by a thicket of trees and ivy. The windows were boarded up, and the door was hanging slightly off its hinges, but she could tell it was once a charming place. She pushed the door open and stepped inside. The studio was dark and dusty, but even in the gloom, Amelia could sense the creative energy that once filled the space. There were canvases stacked against the walls, some blank, others half finished, and jars filled with hardened paint. The scent of turpentine and old paper hung heavy in the air. It was a chaotic, beautiful mess, a testament to a life dedicated to art. As Amelia explored the studio, she discovered a chest tucked away in a corner. Inside, she found old photographs, letters, and a box filled with drawings. As she sifted through them, she saw the same symbol that Liam had drawn in his sketchbook, the heart and star. This time, however, she could clearly see it was part of a family crest. She also saw a picture of Liam as a young boy, holding a painting with the same symbol. It was then she realized that the drawing she had seen was not just a made-up symbol. It was something that connected Liam to his past, and something that she had seen before. She continued looking through the old photos, and there it was, a picture of her parents, with Liam's parents, all smiling together, in front of a house she recognized as her childhood home. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her parents had known Liam's parents. She realized that Liam and her may have known each other when they were kids. Could Liam's secret admirer campaign be something more than just a romantic gesture? She finally understood why the symbol felt familiar. It was part of her own family history as well. She knew she had seen it on old family albums. A wave of realization washed over her. Liam wasn't just a baker, a talented artist, or her secret admirer. He was someone from her past, someone connected to her family in a way she couldn't have imagined. Her curiosity had just turned into something that was starting to unravel family secrets that had been hidden for years. Amelia left the old studio feeling a mix of excitement and bewilderment. The discovery of her parents' connection to Liam's family was a revelation that turned her world upside down. She couldn't shake the image of her parents, smiling alongside Liam's parents. It felt like a scene from a different life. She decided she needed to talk to her mother. When she got home, she found her mother in the garden, sketching in her notebook. Amelia sat next to her, took a deep breath, and said, "Mum, I need to ask you something. Did you know Liam's parents?" Her mother looked up, surprised. "Liam, from the bakery?" "Yes, honey, we knew them. They were our dear friends." "Why do you ask?" "I found their old studio today, and I found a photo of all of you together, and I found this," Amelia said as she pulled the sketchbook out of her bag and showed her the page with the family crest. "I found this symbol as well. I know I've seen it before." Her mother's face paled as she looked at the symbol. Her hand went to her mouth, a look of shock coming over her. "Via, did you find that symbol?" "I haven't seen that in years." Amelia explained about her visits to Liam, the secret notes, and her discovery of the studio and the symbol. Her mother listened intently, her eyes widening with each revelation. As Amelia finished, her mother sat back, a look of sadness washing over her face. "Oh, Amelia, there are things about your father and I that I never told you, things that I kept hidden from you." She continued, "Liam's parents. They were the best people. We were very close when we were younger. We spent almost every day together, we went to art school together, and we had big dreams. But things happened, and we lost touch. Then they had a terrible car accident, and we lost them so quickly, it was devastating. Liam was so young, it broke my heart." Amelia's heart sank at the news. "I'm so sorry, Mom," she replied. "But what happened? Why did you lose touch?" Her mother sighed. "There was a falling out, a misunderstanding. Your father and Liam's father had a big argument about an art competition, and some secrets were revealed, some things that hurt us so much. We stopped talking after that, and we were never the same. I always regretted not trying to fix things." She looked at Amelia, her eyes filled with sadness. "We all kept this symbol on everything we owned. It was the family crest, something that united us. But after that argument, we removed it. I kept some of the old items with the symbol on it, and kept it hidden in the old storage room, as a reminder of our past. I can't believe Liam still keeps that symbol in his drawings." "What was the argument about? Why did it affect you all so much?" Amelia asked. Her mother hesitated for a moment. It was about a painting. Your father accused Liam's father of stealing one of his ideas. It turned out to be a misunderstanding, but the damage was done. We stopped talking, and we lost a very important part of our lives. Your father felt very bad after that. He knew he had made a big mistake, but the damage was done. And we never got to say sorry." And Amelia was shocked. Her parents had kept this secret from her all her life. Liam's parents were not just friends, they were part of a big family drama, one that had affected all their lives. Her feelings towards Liam were now even more complicated. Her initial attraction had now turned into something that was part of her family history. The Secret Admirer campaign was not just a romantic gesture, it was a way of reconnecting with a past that had been lost. She wondered if Liam knew the truth, and if he was trying to get closer to her because he wanted to make things right, or maybe something else. Amelia decided it was time to confront Liam. She couldn't keep all these secrets bottled up any longer, and she needed to know what Liam knew about their families and the past. She went to the bakery early the next morning, her heart pounding with a mix of nervousness and anticipation. Liam was alone, arranging the day's pastries, his movements as precise and graceful as ever. "Liam, can we talk?" Amelia asked, her voice a little shaky. Liam looked up, surprised to see her so early. "Of course, Amelia. What's wrong?" "It's about the notes, the gifts, and our parents," Amelia said, taking a deep breath. Liam's eyes widened, and his hands froze in place. He knew that moment had arrived. Amelia continued, "I know about the old studio, and I know about the symbol, and how it was connected to our parents. I also know the story about the falling out, the argument, and how it ended up with both families losing touch. My mom told me everything." Liam's face paled, his gaze dropping to the floor. You know," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Yes, Liam, I know. And I need to know, did you know this too? Was this a way to connect with me? To try to fix the past? Liam looked up at Amelia, his eyes filled with a mix of sadness and longing. Wes, Amelia, I knew about our families. I found some old letters and photos in my parents' belongings after they passed away. I learned everything about your parents, the history of our families, and how close you all once were. So, all this, Amelia gestured to the bakery and the idea of the secret admirer. The notes, the gifts, it wasn't just about me. It was also about our past. It was about both, Amelia. Liam replied, taking a step closer to her. I've always been drawn to your art, your spirit, the way you see the world. But finding out about our parents and our connection, it made me want to reach out, to try to bridge that gap and to see if there was still a chance for a connection between our families. I've been so confused and so intrigued by your letters and by the person behind them. I thought you were the most amazing and sweet guy. But all this time you were holding a big secret, and I was in the dark all the time, Amelia replied. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I was scared that if I told you, you wouldn't want anything to do with me, or you'd think I was trying to manipulate you. Liam said, I know what it's like to live with a family secret. But at the same time, it does not give you the right to not be honest. I had the right to know who was sending those messages, not just a secret admirer, but someone who was part of my past. Amelia replied. Liam's eyes filled with tears and his voice trembled. I never intended to hurt you. I wanted to bring us together, not separate us. I just wanted to fix something that I never got a chance to fix. I wanted to make it right. And maybe I also wanted to see if there could be something between us, something real. Amelia looked at Liam, her heart softened by his words. She saw the pain in his eyes, the genuine regret, and the longing. She realized that his secret admirer campaign wasn't just about the past, it was also about the present and the potential for a future. His intentions were good, she could see it now. But could she forgive him for keeping this secret? Amelia and Liam stood in silence for a moment, the weight of their shared past hanging heavy in the air. The sweet aroma of pastries was a stark contrast to the complicated emotions that filled the bakery. Amelia finally broke the silence, her voice softer now. Liam, I'm not going to lie, I am hurt. I'm hurt you didn't tell me the truth from the beginning. But I also understand, and I'm not going to deny the fact that I've felt something special about you ever since we started talking. I've been so drawn to your kindness, your talent, and your quiet strength. She took a step closer to him, her eyes searching his. But I needed to know who was sending me those messages. It was important for me to know the truth. Liam's eyes lit up at her words, a small smile forming on his face. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you for understanding. I know I should have been honest with you from the start, and I promise I won't keep any secrets from you again. I relieve you, Liam. I really do, Amelia said. She walked towards him and took his hand. But this is not just about us anymore. It's about our families, our pasts, and about how we choose to move forward. I want to honor their memories, but I also want to create something new. Together, Liam's heart fluttered. Together, he asked, his voice full of hope. Wes, together, Amelia said, squeezing his hand gently. I think we owe it to our parents and to ourselves to see if we can rebuild the connection that they lost. Maybe that's why we are both in Willow Creek now, to rewrite the ending of their story. Liam smiled brightly, his eyes sparkling with happiness. I would love that, Amelia. More than anything. They spent the rest of the morning talking, sharing their memories of their families, their dreams for the future, and the art that they wanted to create. They decided to visit her mother and share the whole truth, as well as visit the old studio again, but this time together. They finally decided to face the past and start a new journey with all the truth revealed. As they walked towards her house, hand in hand, Amelia felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. The mystery of the secret admirer was now solved, and the secrets had all been revealed, but they were also facing a new challenge. Building a future that honored the past but was focused on the present. When they got to her house, her mother was so happy to see them together. She felt like this had to happen. They all talked about their past, shared stories, and finally decided that they would forgive each other for what happened in the past. They would honor their memories by creating art together, and to keep moving forward. She hugged Liam and thanked him for reuniting the families. She felt at peace at last. It felt like something special was happening that she had always wanted. It was not easy, but they were doing it together. That evening, they walked towards the old studio, the place that had started all this. As they opened the door and walked into that familiar setting, they both felt a connection to something bigger than themselves. As Liam and Amelia looked at each other, a knowing smile appeared in their faces. They had a long journey ahead, and they were ready to face everything together. This was just the start of a great love story. The days following their heart-to-heart talk were filled with a renewed sense of purpose and connection for both Amelia and Liam. The initial mystery of the secret admirer had evolved into something deeper, a bond that transcended a simple crush and embraced a shared history and a hopeful future. They spent hours at the old studio, cleaning it up, organizing the old materials, and rediscovering the art that had been hidden away for so long. Liam started sketching again, his hand moving with a newfound confidence, and Amelia would often sit next to him, providing encouragement and support. They also started collaborating on projects, their styles blending seamlessly to create unique pieces that showcased both their talents. They would create pastries that looked like Amelia's paintings, and she would draw Liam's pastries with her unique style. They also made a point of spending time with their mothers, sharing stories and memories of the past. It was a healing process for everyone, a chance to forgive old wounds and celebrate the bonds that had never truly been broken. The old house was now a place of love, art and collaboration. They were creating new memories that would forever be in the heart of everyone in town. They finally understood that forgiveness was the best way to move forward and to always be open to new opportunities. The community of Willow Creek noticed a change in Amelia and Liam. They were happier, and they were finally together. They started to see them as a power couple that wanted to bring more love to the town. They started to hold art and food events in the studio and the bakery, where the whole community could gather together. They were bringing joy to all of the townspeople. Valentine's Day arrived with a soft snowfall that transformed Willow Creek into a winter wonderland. Amelia and Liam decided to spend the day together, not as secret admirers, but as two people who had found love in the most unexpected of circumstances. They went to their favorite spots in town, shared a picnic in the studio, had a small dinner with their moms, and walked the streets holding hands. Liam presented Amelia with a small, handmade gift, a delicate silver pendant, shaped like the intertwined heart and star symbol. But now slightly different, they had both added their own personal touch to it. Amelia, in turn, gave Liam a new sketchbook filled with blank pages and a set of high-quality pencils, a promise to continue exploring his artistic talents. They were moving forward and were building a future together. As they watched the sunset from the hill overlooking the town, Amelia turned to Liam, her eyes shining with love. "I never imagined my Valentine's Day would be like this, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have met you if you had not sent those love notes to me. And now I am here, with you, creating a new story, with a future I cannot even imagine." Liam smiled, his heart full. "Me neither, Amelia. You are my muse, my love, and my partner. And I can't wait to see what the future brings." They embraced, their love a testament to the power of forgiveness, the importance of family, and the magic of love that can bloom even from the most complicated of beginnings. Valentine's Day had brought them together, but their love story was only just beginning. They would move forward together, and they would write their story as they walked this new journey hand in hand. They had a lot of things to work on, but it was a challenge they were willing to take together, always. And so, the story of Amelia and Liam reminds us that love can blossom in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the greatest connections are found when we explore our pasts. What started as a mystery of a secret admirer turned into a journey of family secrets, forgiveness, and a love story that was meant to be. Thank you for joining us on this journey to Willow Creek, and remember, sometimes the greatest gifts are found when we open our hearts and are willing to embrace our past and build a beautiful future. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.